3 hours on something someone could have helped you solve in 5 minutes. And asking for help never even felt like an option. You say you're fine when you're not. You say I'll figure it out when you're completely lost. You hold things together alone that were never meant to be held alone. And somewhere along the way, you stopped noticing you were doing it. Most people assume this is pride, ego, stubbornness. But that explanation is too small. Some of the people who never ask for help are deeply capable, self-aware, and emotionally intelligent. So if it isn't pride, what is it? Often, it's something learned long before asking ever felt safe. Here's what psychology has actually found. Not asking for help is not just a habit. It's a pattern, one that started as something that genuinely worked. Researchers who study how we learn to connect found something consistent. Kids who grew up in homes where asking felt risky, where needs got dismissed, ignored, or met with frustration, learned one very clear lesson. Handle it yourself, because needing someone is how you get hurt. Meet Marcus, the guy everyone calls when something needs to get done, fixes things quietly, without being asked. At work, he absorbs whatever's falling through the cracks. At home, he handles what nobody notices. With friends, he knows everything going on in their lives and shares almost nothing about his own. For years, Marcus called this not being a burden. He thought it was a form of respect. What it actually was a wall, a very well-built, invisible wall. The shift didn't come from a conversation. It came from a funeral. A close friend of Marcus's was devastated, and Marcus spent the entire service making sure everyone else was okay, checking on people, getting water, being useful. On the drive home, it hit him. He hadn't cried, not because he didn't feel it, because the moment something got heavy, a part of him had immediately looked for a task, something to do, something to be needed for. The feeling had been converted into function, almost automatically. And he realized, sitting in that car, that he had been doing this his whole life. Whenever something got too heavy, he got busy. And here is what makes that conversion so hard to catch. It doesn't feel like avoidance. It feels like strength. People around Marcus admired it. He got promoted because of it. Every reward the world gave him quietly confirmed, this is who you are. Keep going. Which meant the very thing costing him, the loneliness of never being fully known, the exhaustion of always being the capable one, was being continuously reinforced by everything working out for everyone else. Here is the pattern underneath all of it. Research in attachment psychology, specifically on what's called earned secure attachment, shows that how we relate to our own needs as adults is largely shaped by what asking once taught us. For some people, asking meant being disappointed. For others, it meant becoming too much. For others still, it meant being seen in a way that didn't feel safe. The skill of not needing anyone is almost never chosen. It's almost always learned in a moment when needing felt like a risk. And the lesson stayed. So let me ask you something. Think of someone in your life who genuinely cares about you. Now ask honestly, do they actually know what you're struggling with right now? Not the edited version. Not I'm fine, just a bit busy. The real thing. If the answer is no, the next question is worth sitting with. Is that because they couldn't handle it? Or because you never gave them the chance to try? There is a difference between protecting yourself from people who've proven they can't be trusted and protecting yourself from people who haven't had the chance to prove they can. Here is what Marcus noticed, slowly, that every time he said, I've got it, there was a fraction of a second before the words came out. A small internal check. Not, do I actually have it? But, is it safe to say I don't? And the answer to that question had been the same for so long, no, that it had stopped feeling like a choice. It just felt like the truth. The way some people can't walk into a room without scanning for exits, not because they're in danger, but because they once were. And the nervous system doesn't distinguish between then and now. It just runs the old program on every new room. The shift for Marcus, and for a lot of people like him, doesn't come from finally deciding to be vulnerable. That idea doesn't work for people who built walls after getting hurt. The shift comes from one small experiment. Asking for something specific from someone who has already shown in smaller moments that they can be trusted. Not because you're certain it'll go well, because you're willing to find out whether the assumption is still true. The conclusion has been running ahead of the evidence for a long time. The experiment is just catching up. 6 months after the funeral, Marcus was with the same friend who had been devastated that day. They were talking about something ordinary, and in the middle of it, Marcus said, "For the first time in maybe ever, I've actually been struggling with something too. I haven't known how to say it." His friend didn't leave, didn't seem overwhelmed, didn't look at Marcus differently. He just said, "I figured. I didn't know how to ask." Two people who had been sitting next to each other for years, both carrying things, both waiting for the other to go first. The conversation went 3 hours. Marcus drove home and cried. Not from sadness, from the strange, specific relief of having been known. So here's the only thing worth keeping from this. The strength you built by not needing anyone, it is real. It got you here. It probably saved you at some point. But there is a version of strength that was always available to you that you may have never actually tested. The ability to be known, not fixed, not solved, just known. And the people who might be able to do that for you, they're not waiting for you to be vulnerable. They're waiting for you to stop assuming they can't handle you. There is a difference. It's worth knowing which one is actually true. If this helped you understand something about yourself, subscribe for more videos like this.